Thank you for joining me for the next session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind. I got back from San Francisco, where I stayed a few days, maybe closer to a week, to visit one of my children who works there. She let me stay in her apartment in a spare room. They actually have a rather nice apartment with um, I guess, four bedrooms, living rooms. I'm not quite sure what the rooms are for, though far less than my house, the interior space that my house has. Her house was located a few blocks from what is called Mission Street, which is this kind of polyglot, not quite cosmopolitan, but more ethnic enclave. But San Francisco is ultimately a city of neighborhoods. Mission Street and a block in either direction from it uh, are receptacles for litter. But if you venture beyond that in either direction, you encounter residential areas. The houses are mostly attached to each other in rows, but all individually maintained. They have, in that neighborhood, something of a rectangular shape with flat roofs, but other parts of the city are more Victorian with V shaped fronts. I didn't see a lot of people in the yards. I guess if your house costs that much, with the average price being about $1.3 million, according to some reports that I read while I was there, I guess I would want to stay inside. My tourism, either through the bus or through cars or vans, took me through much of the city, much of the neighborhoods across the Golden Gate Bridge. Again, it was very similar with row housing adapted to the hills, probably built at a time when people were getting automobiles, since many had driveways with single car garages. Uh, None of the residential areas looked shabby, though not all were opulent. Chinatown was very vibrant with people outside in the street and lots of shops. Uh, but most of the residential areas were more notable for their houses than for their people. My transportation took me downtown. They did have stores that I would recognize at home: Target, Ross Dress for Less. But they also had endless places to stop off and eat. So as I went there and I saw its popularity, despite um, a fair amount of outward migration since the pandemic, for a variety of reasons, would I really want to live there? And the answer is no. While I was there, I met a couple of kids from my hometown who identified me by my state university sweatshirt. They asked me a bit about my experience in San Francisco. And you know what? I liked having my house. I liked having my lawn. I liked having my yard. I liked having my car that could get me where I really needed to go. I do not need a food court that caters to my every whim. I do not need to be able to walk to pizza or to a coffee shop. Uh, a, a bus system and a subway system or rail system are very convenient, but I don't think I would trade my car to get them. So, despite the attraction of the city and of a very gorgeous area to other people, as a young person, I don't think I would have wanted to relocate uh, so far from my family. I would see that as a form of their abandonment, though in reality, wherever you are, you end up going to your job as the focus of your uh, daylight hours and your family or your home as the focus of your other hours. You meet people, you latch on to institutions, but it wouldn't be right for me to not be able to get where I want to get um, beyond the reach of my car. So that was my experience. It's different than other people's experience. It was good to be there. It was good to see something else, but it also wasn't the real me. In my later years, I think it's important to go with my real me. Thanks so much for joining me for this session of Dr. Plotzker's Mind.